Hello, everybody. It is Saturday, the 7th of February. And yes, I want to talk about God and the angels, or Yaldabaoth and the Arcons, which are basically the same thing, depending on your own judgment. I want to show you this here. And I want to talk about something that's happening in my own life at the moment, which is actually significant in a strange way. And yeah, the end game. What is going to happen to humanity in the end? The choices that we have. And to see really the truth of ourselves and what it is we are and what it is we're in. Now I want to talk, again, I want to put definitions to words. And yes, those are my definitions, how I see it at the moment. But I need to give those definitions so you understand what it is I'm talking about. Yeah, how I use those words. Because I've just heard, again, it was Eckhart Tolle, but there's others as well, that, they don't like using the word God because it is very problematic. And to me, the word is not problematic at all. Yeah, it does describe a certain kind level of consciousness. So you have the different levels of consciousness in this world, which is the mineral, the vegetative, the animal, man, and then you have God. And it is actually different levels of self-awareness. And out of different levels of self-awareness and knowledge. And out of that, greater and greater ability to create something. To do something and to create something and to create a change. So, really to me, God and the Creator are actually the same thing. It is something that is on a level of self-awareness that goes beyond the physical. Man is still self-awareness, but on the level of the physical. You go beyond that. You become divine. You become godly. It is just the knowledge of the being of itself. The next level of knowledge. Beyond man. But the way why this word is problematic for most is because of the Bible. The way the Bible was written or rewritten, the way it was put together with an intention, and that intention is that to portray the idea that there is only one. Yeah? And that one is all. And God or Creator is inside of the created, and no part of the created is all. The all is within all, but no separate part is all. That's Semitic thinking, and I'm going with that. But that is the problem, that in the Bible, that God is God and the all are one, and they're not. They're two distinct parts of the same thing, but they're doing different things. So when somebody goes around saying, I'm following the will of God, or I'm following the will of a Creator, with the mindset, or with the idea that they are actually following the Creator of all. No, that does not exist. The Creator is in the created, and in the created everything is a part. So no, it is not the will of the all. Actually, I think there is no will in the all. See, things that create movement, and movement creates creation. It is a movement in the all that's creating something. So intentions, desire, the way you feel about it, thoughts, anything that would create movement are actually in the created. They do not exist in the all because the all is complete stillness. Everything is birthed out of it. Once it gets moving, once there's a movement, it gets birthed. But so no, the all itself is beyond desire, intention, thought, feeling, and that is why we cannot know it. We only know what is in the created. And God is most definitely a part of the created. So again, you say, I'm following the will of a God or a creator. You're following the will of another consciousness. That is not all. It never will be. But it is a perception that is created through the Bible, through that teaching in the Bible, that there is only one, whose will must be done, which is the great delusion, which is the great lie. It doesn't exist. So, yeah, to speak about God, to me it's not a problem. It is a being on a higher level of consciousness, on a higher understanding of itself, beyond man, who is in the physical. And then whether that is good or bad depends on what that being does with it. Because it does give you more power to create. And whether it's good or bad depends on what you're doing with that. And here comes the uses of words, whether you say it is God and his angelic host, or you're saying it's Yaldabaoth and the Arcons. That is your judgment on whether you think that being is good or bad. Yeah? In the end, it is the same because it's the same structure. It's the one that is ruling over everything underneath it. And angels being the mindless, really the mindless, those that have overcome any knowledge of themselves and are now an integrated part of the godly hive mind, and they're doing as they're told. Again, Arcons are the same. That is what, that again, it is a kind of consciousness that is described as angelic or archonic. And it is a mindless consciousness that has no will of its own. Again, archonic, angel, depends on whether you think that's good or bad. Yeah, or whether you believe that the one God is a glorious, wonderful being that is just doing everything for everybody else, and it's just love, love, love. If you believe that, then you believe on God and the angels. If you think it's a egoistic megalomaniac, then you talk about Yaldabaoth and the Arcons. It is the same structure. It is the same mindset within the structure. So, yes, and I had somebody, a while ago now, somebody came, that Rudolf Steiner said that humanity is destined to become angelic. Yeah, we're all becoming angelic, and the person that said that, she was all of a flutter. Oh, how wonderful, we're all going to be angelic. No, sorry, that is the fall of humanity. If we all become angelic, we are falling from consciousness that has at least some sense of self and self-determination. We're falling into a state where we lose ourselves and we're becoming the tools of a higher mind. Or, no, I wouldn't even say higher. We're becoming the tools of another consciousness. Basically that. And that is not a way up. That's a fall. That is a fall from the state that we're in. So, So which way is humanity going? Are we actually becoming angelic? Are we becoming the mindless servants of some other consciousness? We call that consciousness God. We believe that He is all. And again, if you start serving the One, He becomes all. It's not that He is all. He never was. God was never all. But if that becomes your world, if that becomes your entire being, the service of the One becomes your being, then He becomes all for you. It's not that that is cosmic truth, but it will become your truth. And it will become the reality that you're living in. But you're creating that reality by believing on the One, by doing the service of the One, by acquiescing to His will, and in the end by making yourself dependent on Him. That's another thing that's happening. You will become dependent on Him to provide everything for you. But this is all choices that you made on the way, and it will become your reality. And He will be, whatever being it is you're following, will be the only one. But as I said, it's not cosmic truth. It's a truth that you have created through your own choices. And you made the One the One. And then we're coming into this, I was just thinking about this morning, this place of heaven that is described in the book of the Revelation. Yeah? Where you have the trumpets, you have the glory, hallelujah singing, and especially the four beings that are described, that are standing in front of the throne. Yeah? Whatever they are, doesn't matter what they are. Yeah, it's a form of consciousness that is standing there. And all they can say is holy, 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 24/7. Yeah? They're saying nothing else. I mean, by the time you've reached that stage, you have completely lost it. Yeah? So they're standing there in front of the throne, and God is, His angels are slaughtering the world. Holy, holy, holy. Yeah? He's pouring out plague. Holy, holy, holy. Yeah. He's causing famine and war, and you're holy, holy, holy. I mean, by the time you have reached that stage, you have completely and utterly lost it. I mean, you're on that low level of consciousness that you barely exist. In fact, I don't think you do exist. For some reason, your body is, they still have bodies. Yeah, the body still exists, but it is animated purely by the light and by the will of God. And no, they are not on a higher level of consciousness. Yeah? They have not reached the height of enlightenment. They really haven't. Those four beings that are described there are the goners. Yeah? They've lost it completely. But we're being taught that is where we should all go. We should become angelic. We should serve the One. You know, it's honestly, it is bloody Ghostbusters. Choose the form of your destroyer. That's what it is. Choose the one that will destroy yourself, so that you can become part of His glorious kingdom, of His glorious body, of the body of God. Yeah, forget it. Now, what's happening at the moment in my life? Let me tell you that. Yeah? So, I'm doing cleaning jobs, 2 cleaning jobs for the same company. But in one of the jobs, I've got a supervisor. And she is, you know, creating rules. She's a great creator of rules, and the rules change daily. The system changes. You know, whatever comes into her head next is the law. Yeah, and we're jumping. I mean, we're doing no task that is going to set the world alight. Yeah, we're scrubbing floors and we're cleaning toilets. I mean, but still, it's a principle. Yeah, It is like wipe over the surface every day. That is the law. Actually, no, we're not wiping over the surfaces every day. We do it every second day. And then you wipe over that surface on the wrong day, you're getting told off for that because it is not the supervisor appointed day for wiping over that surface, yeah? And there's other things she is doing which are actually close to a mental illness, yeah? But everybody has to jump. We're all having to jump, whatever comes next. And of course, she's in this great position where she's telling us, I'm doing the will of the company, which she's not, because most of what she is creating is just total chaos and the job is not actually going to be done. And I'm doing it for you. This is the other thing, you know, she's self-sacrificing for us. I'm doing it all for you, to make it better for you, which she's obviously not. Anyway, so I'm struggling with this. Yeah, I just can't do it. You know, it's blinking lunacy, and why should I do it? And my dear co-workers are moaning and bickering and bitching behind the supervisor's back, obviously, the entire time. So I thought, right, I've had enough. I stand up. Yeah, actually, I contacted the higher up boss and actually said, I resign. This is lunacy. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, which created the first shitstorm, where our supervisor had us all sitting down and saying, well, what do you think? And there I was, and my dear co-workers, yeah? Two of them said nothing, and the one that is usually bitching and bickering the most was that far up the supervisor's arse, I don't think she saw any daylight anymore. So I thought, well, this is great. And then, the top man is going to come down next week. I had actually kind of hoped I could sneak off quietly, but apparently that's the next shitstorm, and apparently I'm going to be there. So, but I've left myself, somehow maneuvered myself into the wonderful position where I've got nothing to lose. So I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. But, so how is all of this significant? Yeah, we're doing it, that it involves 6 people in this world, and they're doing a job that is, as I said, not going to set the world alight anyway. It's happening in an insignificant little council building in a little town in Northern Ireland that 99.999% of the world will have never heard of. So how is it significant? Because what is happening around me right now is biblical. Believe it or not. It is the program that was created by that teaching. And it only shows that this teaching has reached to the smallest part of humanity, and it's playing itself out everywhere. Yeah, you've got the supervisor in the role of the ruler. I mean, she doesn't think she's God. She's Jehovah's Witness, God forbid. She wouldn't dare. Because God will strike her dead on the spot if she did. But it is the hierarchy thinking, and she thinks she is in a position of power. Yeah, to maneuver everybody else around her. So she is the mind that is moving everything else around her. What is around her are the Arcons, or the angels. Yeah? Look at the book of Revelation. It says, who's going to be in New Jerusalem? Those that serve me and those that fear me. Now, most of the ones in our setting are serving in fear. Mostly serving in fear of losing the job. Yeah, there's nobody there that can afford to do that. I can't afford to do that. You know, I had this voice saying, you know, you can't handle the truth. Yeah, no, it didn't say that. I can handle the truth. I can even speak the truth. What my voice was saying was, you cannot afford to have a truth. Oh, let's see. I can't actually, but as I said, I'm there now, so I might as well go for it. But this is biblical. This is the biblical program, playing itself out over and over and over again to the smallest part. Arcons and Yaldabaoth and Arcons, God and angels. From the very top to the very bottom, it is the same structure. It is the same mindset. It is the same fear, or being in total agreement. Yeah, actually thinking that the one is totally glorious. It's playing itself out everywhere. It's actually scary, in a way. And that is the truth. You know, when we say we need to get out of religion, that is the truth we must see. And we must see it in ourselves. And we must see what it is we are doing. And how we are being programmed and how we are working in that program. And yes, I would say most of humanity is becoming angelic or arconic, whichever way you want to look at that. We are becoming that. I mean, most are there. They are functioning in that system. Not in their own truth. Again, when you look at the book of the Revelation and everybody is bickering and moaning about what's going on, but nobody's doing anything. Yeah? I say what I'm about to do is also biblical, because I'm about to shake the dust of my sandals and walk away. You know, I will say my piece, and if they don't want to hear it, I will shake the dust of my sandals and walk away. That's also biblical. Whether that will work or not is another thing. Again, just because it says so in the Bible. Yeah, those are possibilities, those are ways. Whether they will actually work, well, let's find out what it will do. See, you look at those stories, you're talking about God and angels, or you're talking about Yaldabaoth and Arcons, or you talk about those stories. That happened to those people 2,000 years ago. No, it's happening continuously, all the time. That is not a one-off story. That is a truth or a revelation of something that is happening over and over and over again. You're just seeing it. You're no longer seeing it because you're being pointed to, it's 2,000 years ago. Or it's talking about beings in another dimension. Yeah, or it's somewhere else. It's not here. It's not you. And it is absolutely you. And it's absolutely here and now. That's why humanity is going around in circles, because we're doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Yeah, which apparently it was Einstein that said that is insanity. We are close to insanity. But that's because we're not seeing the truth. Oh, that is because we're looking for the truth in the wrong place. Somewhere else, at a different time, in another space, in a dimension far, far away. Yeah? No, it's here and now. It is forever creating through us, playing the program. So that is the truth we must see. We must understand these teachings correctly. We only see them correctly, understand them correctly when we see it in ourselves and all around us, which is what I've just experienced. I've experienced that truth within me and all around me. And yes, the big guy is coming next week, and I'm going to be crucified? Quite possibly. Yeah, there's another where that story is. In a very small way, yes, it's going to play itself out again. But the thing is, if it's happening in every small part, and the whole is created by all the small parts in it happening in the whole. Yeah? And if the smallest part does not change, the whole will not change. because the whole is the sum of its parts. So the parts must change for the whole to change. And then the parts must even see their own truth and how the truth is being programmed by that book, by the Bible. So Endgame. Where is this all leading? What is the meaning, all of this? I say this is biblical. Folks, we are playing the biblical script. Yeah? And that is the Abrahamic religions, which make up a great, great deal of humanity. I don't know how many are hanging on those trees, billions. A great part of humanity that are playing according to that script. And the intention in the book is obviously for God to rule over the world and to have dominion. Yeah? So the first thing you have, again, to do for that to come into being, first of all, every little part has to be programmed to come into agreement with that. Which I said most are functioning in that way. Unconsciously, but they are. They're functioning according to the script. And so what's happening at the moment, what is coming, I think the main event has not just happened. Has not happened yet. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. The main event has not happened yet. This is really a testing ground of whether humanity is ready. Ready for what? Ready for the takeover. Are we programmed enough so they can come and take over with actually very little danger to themselves, because we will not fight back. Most will not fight back. Most are that conditioned to keep their head down that they will let it happen. And that is angelic. That is arconic. Yeah? And they will do the will of whatever is taken over out of fear, out of necessity, or because they are full on in agreement with the glorious, they are the closest to the throne. They are the ones that will sit there and shout, holy, 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 24/7. Doesn't matter what's going on anymore. They are the ones, those that are closest to the throne are the ones that have lost it the most. They will be called the sons of the kingdom. My favorite son, the one that will do nothing for himself, will not determine anything for himself. And that is what will happen if we go the way of the cross. If we really go into complete denial of self, we will be ruled over. That is the end game. And here's the question, is humanity ready? Is the bride ready to meet her husband? Is humanity ready to meet its new reality? Are we ready to be slaves? Are we conditioned enough to become slaves? Well, as I said, what's happening around me at the moment is scary, because it suggests that, humanity is good and ready to become slaves. We're nearly there. So, are we becoming angelic? Is that our future? To become parts of the glorious, godly hive mind? Or will we wake up? Will we stand up for our truth? I say the main event has not yet happened. It will only happen when humanity is ready. When we, out of our own free will, will acquiesce to the rulership of the One. And He will give of His knowledge, and it is all that we will know for all eternity. And we will live in that matrix that is created by the One. We're not at the moment. We're not living in a matrix that is created by one at the moment. We still have freedom. But we're getting closer and closer to that outcome. And yeah, in order to prevent it, first of all, we need to wake up to the truth of what it is we are and what it is we're in. Yeah? And people will fight it in this world. Well, some will still fight it in this world. Will still stand up for their truth in this world. Will still actually stand up for others, knowing that we are humanity, we are one. And we are one with, we are in the same web of life as the animal, the vegetative, and the mineral. So we are a part of that whole. Many are waking up to that. And others are doubling down on the one God that must be served. And they're becoming angelic. So, which way is this going to go? Now the fact is, I think, you always say if there's a revolution or there is a change in a system, you only need a certain percentage of people that are completely on board. You don't actually need all. You only need a certain percentage of people that will do what is necessary to do unquestionably to create that change. And the rest of us will be, we will be enslaved. So what is the percentage of people now that are gone enough to actually, for this change to happen? I think really with all the stuff they're doing, they're testing the ground, they're trying to see how many people are gone enough at the moment to push this thing through. Is the resistance still strong enough to prevent it? So I don't actually know where we're at, but we're going toward the confrontation. We're going toward that point of choice. We're not there yet. I don't think we're there yet. But that point is coming, and it's coming soon. And then humanity really must wake up to what it is. Yeah, I'm not going around going, oh God, we're all going to be angelic, how beautiful and how wonderful. If you think that, you have not understood a damn thing, and you don't know what it is you are. And you think that is the way up. Yeah. That is the conversation we must have. What are we? What are they out there? What are their intentions? What are our intentions? And the right to self-determination. And for that conversation to happen, we really must stop being confused, or for our attention to be put in the wrong direction. Yeah, we should not have a conversation about what beings are out there. It doesn't matter. The conversation that we must have is, who are we? And then stand in that truth. And then we can interact with other beings from a place of truth. At the moment, I think there are other beings involved in this. And we are interacting with them in a state of complete confusion about what it is we are. And that's not a strong position to be in. Again, that is the position that will lead us into slavery. Anyway, here folks, I hope this made sense. And I leave it at that for today. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.